This is the video for fibers. It's 3D level 2. So for fibers, we're gonna do a little something different. First of all, what is a fiber? When I talk about fibers, I refer to yarn, thread, and different types of fabric, because those fibers are put together to create fabric. And what you'll be doing is you'll be discerning and discovering what yarn and fabric can and can't do, okay? And you're gonna be kind of identifying the different types of fabrics, yarns, their pros and cons, and can they be fused or sewn together in different ways, okay? So how do you do that? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start by writing fiber experiments at the top, okay? And you are going to need to find 5 different types of fabric, okay? So we have some supplies over in the other area, and a fabrics book is one of them, okay? You've got your fabric right here, you've got your yarn right here, and you've got your felt right here. There's a lot of small fabric scraps here, so if you, instead of having to get these big ones out and cut them, there's plenty of little scraps in here for you to choose from. Also, the fabric book that you see me using will be located right here and should be replaced right here. It looks like this. In this book I've started, it has different samples of fabrics in it, okay? There's a lot more to be worked on with this, but each one talks about what percentage it is, what kind of weight it is, and how it behaves, okay? And in this first page, this really gives you a good guideline to go by. So there's 2 different types, main types that we're going to focus on. There's woven, which is interlaced fabric, and there's knit fabric, which is interloop. The biggest difference is that woven does not stretch and knit stretches, okay? So those are the biggest things that you want to remember. You can test these through a cut test. When you are cutting things that fray, typically they are woven, and when they're knit, typically they do not. Also, if they are a natural fiber, a lot of times they will fray, and if they are synthetic, they will not. But that also depends on the type of weave that they have, okay? So you're going to be testing with a cut test and also with the burn test, because not only are you going to be identifying are they woven or knit, you're also going to be identifying are they natural, are they synthetic, or are they a blend, okay? These are some examples of natural fibers. They come from plants or animals. Synthetic is only man-made, okay? Usually there's some sort of plastic involved, and the blend usually has both, like 65% polyester, 35% cotton as an example. And there's also lightweight, medium, and heavy weight, okay? So this is a really good guide for you to kind of see the difference between the fabrics. Now, I have these here so that you can kind of compare them to the different fabrics that you're gonna see on the shelf, because you're gonna take fabrics from here for your fiber experiments. So you're gonna choose 5 different fabrics. So here's 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can probably cut this one down a little bit more here. And these are going to be things that you are going to be identifying. Now, if you're not sure what kind it is, then first thing you wanna do is test it. Now you can compare it to these. So I know that woven does not stretch, knit stretches. So can this stretch? Yeah, this stretches pretty well, okay? This is definitely, oh yeah, there's a knit, okay? And it's a blend, but it's a knit and it stretches, and this stretches. So I can kind of see a parallel between the two. So I think this is a knit. Also, when I cut, does it fray or does it not? Well, these ones that are fraying are, let's see, that one's woven, this one is woven, that one's woven and it frays. Is this one fraying? I don't know, kind of on the ends. It's not really fraying in the same way that this is fraying. Let me see if there's another example of, see, oh, here's another, oh, these look similar. Okay, yeah, I would say then this is definitely knit and probably, this is polyester. So when I'm looking at the kind, is it natural or is it synthetic or is it a blend? Well, let's see here. How do I test that for sure? Well, I know it doesn't fray, so it's probably going to be a synthetic or blend, but how do I test for sure? Well, then you want to use the second test, which is the burn test, okay? And I wrote the burn test here. If you do the burn test, you're going to have to come up to my help desk area, okay? So try to get everything else done, and if I'm not busy, come up and do the burn test, and I will have a couple of lighters for you, okay? And so when you're doing the burn test, what you're going to do is you're going to take the edge, and this is how you tell if it's synthetic, if it's cotton, or if it's synthetic, natural, or a blend, and you're going to light the end and see what happens to the fabric. So if you can see this, I see it kind of molded up here. Okay, so if it's molding up, what does that mean? Okay, well, if I'm not sure, does that mean that it's synthetic or does that mean that it's, well, if there's some sort of plastic in it, it's probably synthetic, all right? So my guess right now is that this is a knit and it's, I'm gonna say synthetic. I don't know if it's a blend or not, but definitely synthetic. Okay, so I'm going to find a way to glue this down, and I have a bunch of different glues that you can try to see what works best. I'm just gonna try rubber cement and see if rubber cement will work. So what I'm gonna write down right now is that this is knit. It is, oh, what's the weight? Well, that's another thing I can use my samples for. How light is this? I compared it to this. It was really similar to this. This seems lighter than this though. There's a thing with fabrics, guys, you have to really compare them to each other and you have to feel them. Like this is way lighter than this. I would probably say this is about a medium heaviness. And I would say it's probably, this is 100%, it's probably synthetic. Okay, that would be my guess for that one. Now I noticed that the rubber cement isn't allowing my fabric to stick very well. So I'd probably write that down. Rubber cement doesn't glue to paper. Does it glue to each other? I don't know if it glues to itself. Like we could try that out. Let me try the Elmer's glue. I don't know if this is going to be any better or not, but I probably have to wait for it to dry. But I'm going to try the Elmer's glue and see if this is going to work better. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to let it dry for a little bit. But that's my first one, okay? So if I take another one, let's try this one. I think this is felt, okay? So the first thing I need to know, is it knit or woven? Well, it doesn't really stretch much, but I'm not sure if it's knit or woven. I'm gonna check my book here, see if there's anything like it. Is there a, oh, here's felt. Oh, it's not woven or knit. This is one of the exceptions. This one is pressed together fibers. So I'm actually gonna write down felt, not woven or knit. Okay, and then let's see, is it synthetic or is it natural? I'm gonna test with my burn test here. Ooh, I don't know. It looks kind of plasticky. I think this is synthetic. So my guess is that it's synthetic, right? Based on the burn test, so I want to be able to see that. And then what's the weight? This is, I think, a bit more heavyweight because felt is pretty thick. Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to glue it down. That'll be another thing that I maybe could discover about it. What's a pro or a con with it? Okay, so you're going to find other fabrics that are all different from each other, okay? And you're going to come up with 5 of them and you're going to discover these things about them. Then you're going to move on to yarn, all right? So yarn is also fibers, but obviously it's different, and I want you to find 2 different types of yarn. I have a couple different here, but you can pick which ones you want. Let's see, I'd say these are 2 black ones. I'd say let's go with these 2. They're different. This one obviously has a lot of fibers sticking out of it, and this one doesn't. So again, I'm going to see what is this made out of is your goal. What is this made out of? And the only way you can test this is the burn test. Ooh, that's burning. Ooh, that definitely smells kind of ashy. Are there ashes? I don't know. It might be a blend. See how it's ashing? When it's ashing, it means usually there's some natural fibers in there. Let me show you guys the difference when you actually, because this is 100% cotton. So let me show you the difference when you burn 100% cotton or a completely natural. It burns longer. Okay, and as you can see, it definitely has a smoky, it's still burning. This is why I need you guys to do this by me. It's slow burning, it's not going out very easily, okay, and it's smoking. So yeah, you can see that was definitely 100% natural. It burns, it completely burns and it ashes, okay? So I would say this kind of burnt, but it also ashed a little bit. Let's see about this one. That one burned for a while too. It smells kind of burnt. So this one might have some natural fibers in it too. So how do I know the difference? Then what does a synthetic one look like? Well, synthetic has plastic in it. So let's see how this one reacts to it. This one goes out right away. So this is an example of probably something that's more plastic. Okay, now I'd like you to go ahead and complete your fabric and yarn testing. Once you have those 7 things complete, you can play the rest of this video and you can go on to fusing them together with thread and glue and seeing how to do that for your final 3. These guys, okay? So that's your 7. For the last bit of it, you're going to find out how does it hold together with other fabric. What kind of thread do you need, okay? On the top of the 3D stand, there is a needles and thread kit, okay? So this has tapestry needles, which are bigger ones, and it has smaller needles inside like this, okay? And you're gonna go ahead and thread your needle. If you need help, work together with a partner that's really small eye of the needle. It's pretty self-explanatory. You wanna get a lot of slack there, okay? And you're gonna find out, okay, how do things hold together, all right? So like I took a piece of felt here and I'm trying to find out how do these hold together. Now, the only way I'm gonna do this is if I can tie a knot in this. Now this is a different kind of thread. This one is actually a little bit stiffer than the other ones. There's a lot of different types of threads, but I made a knot in that one, and I'm gonna see how it works in, so I know that this went right through the felt. So this knot will definitely not work. So I'm gonna either need a thicker thread or, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to use yarn, which you can see right here, I did. And this is holding just fine, okay? That knot was plenty big enough because I had a bigger thread, and it's because this is so porous, okay? So you really have to look at how does it stay together. So thread is one way that you can do that. You can also test it with glues. We have the different glues in the glue area. This is Fabric Fusion. We have flexible, stretchable glue. We have these glues. Will these work to hold these together? So you can experiment with that. Will it work if I use Elmer's glue? Will it hold together? What about hot glue? What about flexible glue? What about fabric glue? What's the best one and why? How long does it take to dry? These are all good questions to ask with good discoveries that you can write down. Either on the next page, you can write down felt must use thick thread, okay? It's something that we found out, okay? So those are the things that you want, and you want 10 total, 5 fabrics, at least 2 different yarns, and 3 ways that you can connect the fabric together when you're making things.